How did I end up staring at a thick stack of legal documents on my kitchen table, my husband's signature at the bottom, right after I told him I was leaving for the weekend with my ex? What made the man everyone thought was weak become the one with all the power, right after I humiliated him in front of my family? Can someone really just vanish from your life, on their own terms, when you least expect it? Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. I stared at my reflection in the bathroom mirror, admiring the subtle changes I'd made over the past few weeks. New highlights in my auburn hair, a touch more makeup than usual, and that confidence I'd been missing for years. At 32, I finally felt like I was discovering who Iridian Voss was supposed to be. The kitchen felt different that evening as I prepared dinner. Everything seemed brighter, more alive. Nathan sat at his laptop at the dining table, fingers clicking away at some IT project that would probably keep him busy until midnight. Again. "How was your day?" I asked, setting down his plate of pasta with more force than necessary. "Busy. The Morrison account is giving us trouble with their server migration." He barely looked up from his screen. I watched him for a moment, waiting for him to ask about my day, to notice my new earrings, to see that his wife was sitting right there needing attention. Nothing. "Nathan, can you please close the laptop during dinner?" He sighed, the same tired sound I'd been hearing for months. "Just give me 5 more minutes. This is important." "And dinner with your family isn't?" Our 10-year-old daughter Maggie looked up from her plate, her dark eyes darting between us. She'd been doing that a lot lately, sensing the tension even when we tried to hide it. "Sorry, sweetheart," Nathan said to her, finally closing the laptop. "How was school today?" As Maggie launched into a story about her art class, I felt my phone buzz, a text from Sean. "Thinking about you, can't wait to see you again." My heart raced as I quickly silenced the phone, but not before a small smile crossed my lips. Someone was thinking about me. Someone found me interesting enough to text during dinner. "Who was that?" Nathan asked, finally paying attention to something. "Just Sheila. Girl stuff." The lie came easily now. Nathan's mother Lydia called just as we were finishing up. I could hear her sharp voice through the phone as Nathan answered. "Hi, Mom. Yeah, we're just having dinner. No, everything's fine. Okay, I'll tell her you said hi." He hung up and looked at me. "Mom says hi." "How wonderful," I said, not bothering to hide my sarcasm. Lydia had never liked me, always making little comments about how I wasn't good enough for her precious son. After Maggie went upstairs to do homework, I started cleaning the kitchen. Nathan returned to his laptop without offering to help. "You know, some husbands actually talk to their wives," I said, scrubbing a plate harder than necessary. "I'm talking to you now." "No, you're typing and occasionally grunting in my direction. There's a difference." Nathan closed his laptop again and turned to face me. "Iridian, what's going on? You've been different lately." Different. He'd noticed something at least. Maybe I'm just tired of feeling invisible in my own home. "You're not invisible. I've just been swamped with work." "You're always swamped with work. When was the last time we went out together? When was the last time you asked me about my dreams, my feelings, anything that matters to me?" Nathan ran his hands through his brown hair, a gesture I used to find endearing. Now it just looked tired. "I'm doing my best here. This job pays for this house, Maggie's school, everything we have." "And what about what I need emotionally? What about companionship and feeling valued?" "I value you." "Do you? Because I feel like I'm just here to cook dinner and do laundry and raise Maggie while you disappear into your computer screen." The conversation was going exactly where I wanted it to go. Sean had helped me see how emotionally unavailable Nathan really was. A real man would fight for his wife's attention, would make her feel special. "I don't know what you want me to say," Nathan said quietly. "I want you to want to say something. Anything. I want you to care enough to try. I left him sitting there and went upstairs to put Maggie to bed. As I tucked her in, she grabbed my hand. "Mummy, are you and Daddy okay?" My heart clenched. "Of course, baby. Why would you ask that? You seem sad a lot, and Daddy seems sad too." I kissed her forehead. "Adults just have complicated feelings sometimes, but we both love you very much." Later, as I folded laundry in the bedroom, Nathan appeared in the doorway. "I found this in your jeans pocket." He held up a receipt from an expensive boutique downtown. My stomach dropped. I'd bought cologne there last week. For Sean. "Oh, that. I was looking at a gift for your birthday." Another lie, smoother than the first. "My birthday isn't for 3 months. I like to plan ahead." Nathan studied the receipt, then looked at me. For a moment, I thought he might push harder, might demand answers. Instead, he just nodded and handed it back to me. "I'm going to meet Sheila for coffee," I said, grabbing my purse. "Don't wait up." As I headed for the door, I heard him call after me. "Iridian?" I turned back. "I do love you. I hope you know that." The words should have made me feel guilty. Instead, they just made me feel more justified. Love wasn't enough if it came without passion, without excitement, without making me feel alive. I drove to meet Sean, my phone buzzing with a text from Nathan. "Drive safe. Text me when you get there." I didn't text back. The Italian restaurant on 5th Street had become our place. Sean was already waiting in the corner booth when I arrived, his blue eyes lighting up as he saw me. He stood to hug me, and I breathed in his familiar cologne, the same brand I'd been buying him, though Nathan didn't know that. "You look incredible," Sean said, his hand lingering on my waist as we sat down. "Thank you. It's nice to be appreciated." Sean Larkin had been my first love in high school, the one who got away when we went to different colleges. Running into him at the grocery store 3 months ago had felt like fate. He was divorced now, working in sales, still had that easy charm that had made me fall for him at 17. "How's the home situation?" he asked, reaching across the table to touch my hand. "The same. Nathan's completely checked out. I swear he cares more about his computer than his own wife." "His loss," Sean said, stroking my fingers. "You deserve so much better than that." My phone buzzed. A text from Nathan. "Hope you're having fun with Sheila. Love you." I showed Sean the message, rolling my eyes. "See what I mean? He doesn't even suspect anything." Maybe because he doesn't know you well enough to be suspicious. A man who really knew his wife would sense when something was different. Sean always knew exactly what to say. He understood me in ways Nathan never had. I quickly took a selfie with my wine glass and posted it to social media with the caption, "Girls' Night, much-needed sister time with a Sheila Brandt." Then I tagged my location as a different restaurant across town. Within minutes, Sheila had commented, "Yes, girl, live your best life." "Smart," Sean said, watching me work my phone. "Though I hate that we have to sneak around." "It won't be forever," I said, surprising myself with the words. "I mean, things can't go on like this indefinitely." Sean's eyes grew serious. "What are you saying?" "I don't know yet. I just know I'm not happy, and I haven't been for a long time. You make me remember who I used to be." The Iridian I fell in love with in high school was fierce and passionate. She knew what she wanted. That girl got buried under years of marriage to a man who takes her for granted. We talked for 2 hours, our conversation flowing like it always did. Sean told me about his work, his dreams of starting his own business. He asked about my job, my interests, things Nathan hadn't asked about in months. "I should go," I finally said, though I didn't want to. "Let me drive you to your car," Sean offered. In his BMW, parked behind the restaurant, he pulled me close and kissed me. It was electric, everything my marriage wasn't. "I'm falling for you all over again," he whispered against my lips. "Sean, I know it's complicated, but life's too short to be miserable." I drove home in a daze, my lips still tingling. Nathan was asleep when I got there, his laptop closed on the nightstand. I slipped into bed quietly, but sleep wouldn't come. My phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. Hey, thought I saw Iridian with someone tonight at Romano's. Wasn't sure if it was you or not. Dave from next door. My heart pounded. Dave must have seen us in Sean's car. I quickly deleted the message and blocked the number, but damage might already be done. The next morning, Nathan seemed normal at breakfast, making coffee and toast while I got Maggie ready for school. "How was your evening with Sheila?" he asked. "Good. We talked about her new job mostly." "That's nice. You two should do that more often." I studied his face for any sign that he knew something, but Nathan had never been good at hiding his emotions. If he suspected anything, I'd know. After he left for work and Maggie for school, I called Sheila. "I need you to cover for me if Nathan asks about last night," I said without preamble. "What happened? Are you okay?" "I'm fine. I wasn't actually with you last night." There was a pause. "Iridian, please tell me you're not doing what I think you're doing." "It's not what you think." "Well, maybe it is, but it's complicated." "Cheating is never complicated. It's just wrong." "Don't lecture me, Sheila. My marriage has been dead for years. Nathan doesn't even see me anymore." "So talk to him. Go to counseling. Don't blow up your family." "You don't understand what it's like to feel invisible in your own life. Sean makes me feel alive again." Sheila sighed. "Sean? As in high school Sean? Iridian, this is insane. Will you cover for me or not? I don't like this. I'm not asking you to like it. I'm asking you to be my sister." Another long pause. "Fine. But I think you're making a huge mistake." At work that day, I couldn't concentrate. My phone kept buzzing with texts from Sean, each one making me smile despite my anxiety. "Lunch?" he texted around noon. "Can't. Too risky." "I miss you already." "Miss you too." My coworker Jennifer noticed my distraction. "You seem happy today. Good night out." "Just dinner with my sister. Sometimes you need girl time, you know." "Absolutely. My husband would live in his man cave if I let him." I laughed, but inside I was thinking about how different Sean was. He wanted to spend time with me, to talk to me, to make me feel special. That evening, Nathan seemed quieter than usual at dinner. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah, just work stuff. The Morrison project is getting complicated." But something in his eyes made me wonder if that was the whole truth. The office break room felt different on Monday morning. As I poured my coffee, I could sense Jennifer and Mark whispering by the vending machine, their conversation stopping abruptly when they saw me. "Morning," I said brightly, pretending not to notice their guilty expressions. "Oh, hey, Iridian," Jennifer said. "How was your weekend?" "Quiet. Family time. You know how it is." But my weekend hadn't been quiet at all. Sean and I had met for lunch on Saturday, while Nathan took Maggie to her soccer game. We'd talked for hours about everything: our past, our dreams, the way we felt when we were together. My phone rang as I sat down at my desk. Sean's name lit up the screen. "Good morning, beautiful." His voice was warm and intimate. "I can't really talk right now," I said, glancing around the office. "I know, but I couldn't stop thinking about Saturday. When can I see you again?" "I don't know. It's complicated with Nathan's schedule and Maggie." "What about lunch today? That little cafe on Maple Street?" I felt a thrill of excitement mixed with anxiety. "Maybe. Let me see how the day goes." "I'll be waiting either way. You're worth the risk, Iridian." After I hung up, I noticed Jennifer watching me from across the room. Had she heard something? I tried to focus on my work, but Sean's words kept replaying in my mind. Around 11, my phone buzzed with an email from Nathan's mother, Lydia. The subject line read, "Concerned about recent social media activity." My stomach dropped as I opened it. "Iridian, I hope you don't mind me reaching out, but I noticed some inconsistencies in your recent posts. You mentioned being at Bella Vista with Sheila on Friday night, but a friend of mine saw you at Romano's with a man who wasn't Nathan. I'm sure there's an explanation, but I felt I should mention it to Nathan. Family is important to us, and I hope you understand my concern. My hands shook as I read the message. That interfering old woman had been watching my social media and checking up on me. I quickly typed back, Lydia, I'm not sure what your friend thinks they saw, but I was with Sheila as posted. Perhaps they were mistaken about the person they saw. I'd appreciate you speaking to me directly about any concerns, rather than involving Nathan in gossip. I hit send before I could second-guess myself, then immediately called Sheila. Did Nathan's mother contact you? I asked when she answered. No, why would she? She's suspicious about Friday night. If anyone asks, we were at Bella Vista, okay? We talked about your job and my marriage problems. Iridian, this is getting out of hand. Please, Sheila, I just need a little more time to figure things out. Fine, but I'm serious about this being a mistake. At lunch, I couldn't resist meeting Sean. The cafe was small and dimly lit, perfect for a private conversation. He was waiting in a back booth, and his face lit up when he saw me. I wasn't sure you'd come, he said, standing to kiss my cheek. I almost didn't. Nathan's mother is getting suspicious. About us? She had someone watching me, apparently. Says they saw us together Friday night. Sean reached across the table and took my hand. Maybe it's time to stop hiding. What do you mean? I mean, maybe it's time to be honest about what this is, about what we want. My heart raced. Sean, I can't just blow up my life. I have Maggie to think about. I'm not asking you to blow up your life. I'm asking you to start living it. We talked for an hour, and by the time I got back to the office, I felt like I was walking on air. Sean had a way of making everything seem possible, of making me feel like I deserved happiness. But my good mood evaporated when I saw Jennifer and Mark huddled by my desk. Oh good, you're back, Jennifer said, but her tone was strange. We were just wondering where you went for lunch. Just grabbed a sandwich, I said casually. At that new cafe on Maple Street? Mark asked with a knowing look. My blood ran cold. Had they followed me? I don't remember the name. Why? No reason. Just curious. But I could see in their eyes that they knew something. The rest of the afternoon felt tense, with whispered conversation stopping whenever I walked by. At home that evening, Nathan seemed distracted during dinner. He kept checking his phone and glancing at me with an expression I couldn't read. Everything okay? I asked. My mom called today. She mentioned running into your friend Dave. Apparently he was confused about something he saw Friday night. My mouth went dry. What kind of confusion? He thought he saw you with someone who wasn't Sheila. Mom was worried he might have seen you in some kind of trouble or something. I forced a laugh. Dave's eyesight isn't what it used to be. You know how neighbors can be, always thinking they see drama where there isn't any. Nathan nodded, but something in his expression told me he wasn't entirely convinced. Where did you and Sheila end up going anyway? She mentioned you changed restaurants at the last minute when I talked to her earlier. My heart pounded. When had he talked to Sheila? And what exactly had she said? We did change our minds. You know how it is with sisters, we're always indecisive about where to eat. Right, Nathan said quietly. After Maggie went to bed, I found Nathan in his home office, but instead of working on his computer, he was looking through a stack of papers. What are you working on? I asked from the doorway. He looked up, and for a moment, I saw something in his eyes that I'd never seen before. Suspicion. Just reviewing some bills, making sure everything adds up. Anything interesting? Maybe. I noticed some charges I don't recognize, restaurants we haven't been to, that boutique downtown where you bought my birthday present. My palms started sweating. I told you I like to plan ahead. 3 months ahead for a birthday gift, but you couldn't remember where you had dinner 2 days ago. The question hung in the air between us. I could feel the walls closing in, but I wasn't ready to give up yet. Nathan, what are you really asking me? He set down the papers and looked directly at me. I'm asking if there's something you want to tell me. Like what? Like why our neighbor thinks he saw you with another man. Like why you're suddenly buying cologne, and going to restaurants we never go to. Like why you seem like a completely different person lately. I felt cornered, but instead of confessing, I went on the attack. So now you're investigating me, going through our bills and talking to the neighbors behind my back. I'm trying to understand what's happening to my wife. Your wife is trying to find some happiness in a marriage where she feels completely neglected. But instead of asking what you can do differently, you're playing detective. Nathan's face fell. Iridian, if you're unhappy, we can work on that. We can go to counseling. We can make changes. It's too late for that, I said, the words coming out before I could stop them. What do you mean, too late? I stared at him, this man I'd married 11 years ago, and felt nothing but resentment. He was offering to try now, but where had this effort been for the past few years, when I'd been slowly dying inside? I mean, I'm tired of begging for attention from my own husband. I'm tired of feeling invisible. You're not invisible to me. Aren't I? When was the last time you really looked at me, Nathan? When was the last time you asked about my dreams or my fears, or anything that mattered to me? He opened his mouth to respond, but I held up my hand. Don't answer that. We both know it's been too long. I turned and walked away, leaving him sitting there with his stack of papers and his questions. In our bedroom, I checked my phone and saw a text from Sean. Thinking about you. Sweet dreams. For the first time in years, someone was thinking about me at bedtime. That had to mean something. Maggie's 10th birthday party was supposed to be a celebration, but I could feel the tension crackling through our house like electricity before a storm. I'd spent the morning decorating, while Nathan picked up the cake and pizza, both of us moving around each other with careful politeness. The guest list was small, just family. Nathan's brother Paul and his wife Karen, Nathan's mother Lydia, and my sister Sheila. I'd invited my parents, but they were visiting my aunt in Florida. Lydia arrived first, carrying a large wrapped present and wearing her usual disapproving expression. She hugged Maggie warmly but barely acknowledged me. The house looks nice, she said to Nathan, as if I hadn't spent 2 hours hanging streamers and balloons. Iridian did all the decorating, Nathan said pointedly. How lovely, Lydia replied, her tone suggesting it was anything but. Paul and Karen arrived with their twin boys, and suddenly the house was full of noise and energy. I tried to focus on making sure everyone had drinks and food, playing the perfect hostess role I'd mastered over the years. You look great, sis, Sheila said, pulling me aside in the kitchen. That new highlights really suit you. Thanks, I'm trying some new things. How are things? She asked meaningfully. Complicated, I said, glancing toward the living room where Nathan was helping Maggie open presents. Iridian, I've been thinking about our conversation. Maybe you should... Not now, I cut her off. It's Maggie's day. But as the afternoon wore on, I found myself growing more and more irritated with Nathan. He was being the perfect father and son, making everyone laugh, ensuring Maggie felt special. Where was this energy when it was just the three of us? Nathan's so good with kids, Karen commented, watching him help the boys with a puzzle. Yes, he's quite the family man, I said, unable to keep the edge out of my voice. Lydia shot me a sharp look. He's always been devoted to his family. Some people show devotion differently, I replied. What's that supposed to mean? Lydia asked. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed with a text. Without thinking, I glanced at it. Sean, hope your little girl has a wonderful birthday. Can't wait to see you again soon. Missing you. I quickly put the phone face down, but not before Lydia's eagle eyes caught my smile. Good news, she asked coldly. Just a friend wishing Maggie happy birthday. How thoughtful of them to make you smile like that. The conversation was interrupted by Maggie calling for cake, but I could feel Lydia watching me for the rest of the afternoon. During cake, Nathan made a little speech about how proud he was of Maggie, how she was growing into such a smart, kind young woman. Everyone applauded and Maggie beamed. Daddy gives the best speeches, she said, hugging him. That's because some people are naturally good with words, I said, while others are better at action. Nathan looked at me questioningly. What do you mean? I mean, it's easy to make pretty speeches. It's harder to show up every day in the ways that actually matter. An uncomfortable silence fell over the room. Paul cleared his throat and started talking about work, but I could see everyone processing what I'd just said. Later, as we cleaned up, the tension finally exploded. That was uncalled for, Nathan said quietly as we loaded the dishwasher. What was? You know what? The comments during cake, the attitude all afternoon. It's Maggie's birthday. And you were the perfect father today, just like you're the perfect son for your mother and the perfect brother for Paul. It's amazing how you can turn on the charm when other people are watching. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the fact that you pay more attention to me when we have an audience than you do when we're alone. Nathan set down the plate he was holding and turned to face me fully. Iridian, what is happening to us? Before I could answer, Lydia walked into the kitchen. I couldn't help but overhear, she said, not looking sorry at all. Iridian, I think you're being very unfair to my son. With all due respect, Lydia, this is between Nathan and me. Not when you're disrespecting him in front of his family. Nathan works hard to provide for you and Maggie. He's a good husband and father. Is he? Because a good husband would notice when his wife is unhappy. A good husband would make an effort to connect with his wife instead of hiding behind work all the time. Maybe if his wife appreciated what she had, instead of always wanting more, Lydia shot back. Maybe if her husband treated her like a wife, instead of a roommate who cooks and cleans. That's enough, Nathan said firmly. Mom, Iridian, please. But Lydia wasn't finished. Some women don't know how good they have it. Some women think the grass is always greener somewhere else. My blood ran cold. Did she know about Sean? What's that supposed to mean? I asked. It means that good men are hard to find, and smart women don't throw them away chasing fantasies. Lydia, Nathan warned. No, it's fine, I said, my voice rising. Let her say what she really means. I mean that marriage takes work and commitment, not running around looking for excitement elsewhere. The room went completely silent. Paul and Karen had stopped talking in the living room. Even the kids seemed to sense the tension. I think you should leave, I said quietly. This is my son's house too. And I'm his wife. Get out. Iridian. Nathan looked shocked. No, Nathan, I'm not going to stand here and be insulted by your mother based on neighborhood gossip and her own paranoid suspicions. Lydia's eyes blazed. So there is something to be suspicious about. My phone chose that moment to buzz again. Without thinking, I glanced at it. Sean. Can't wait for our trip this weekend. Just booked the hotel. The blood drained from my face as I realized Nathan had seen the notification over my shoulder. What trip? He asked quietly. Everyone was staring at us now. Paul had appeared in the kitchen doorway, and I could see Sheila behind him, her face pale. It's just, I was thinking of taking a weekend to clear my head. Some time to think. With who? Nathan's voice was barely a whisper. I looked around at all the faces staring at me. Nathan's family, my sister, even the kids peeking around the corner. This wasn't how I'd wanted this to come out. With a friend, I said finally. What friend? Lydia demanded. Someone who actually listens to me. Someone who makes me feel like I matter. Nathan's face went white. Iridian, please tell me you're not saying what I think you're saying. I'm saying that I'm suffocating in this marriage. I'm saying that I need space to figure out who I am when I'm not just Nathan's wife and Maggie's mother. By going away with another man? Paul asked, his voice incredulous. By going away with someone who sees me as a person, not just a function in their life. Nathan sat down heavily in one of the kitchen chairs. How long? How long what? How long has this been going on? I looked at my husband, this man I'd promised to love and honor, and felt nothing but resentment for being forced into this corner. Long enough to know that what we have isn't working anymore. Lydia made a sound of disgust. I can't believe this. Nathan, you deserve so much better. Don't, Nathan said quietly. Just don't. Sheila stepped forward. Iridian, maybe we should talk privately. No, I'm done hiding and pretending. I'm done acting like everything is fine when I'm dying inside. So you're having an affair, Paul said bluntly. I'm trying to find some happiness, some connection with another human being who actually wants to spend time with me. I want to spend time with you, Nathan said, his voice breaking slightly. No, you want to coexist with me. There's a difference. The room was completely silent except for the sound of Maggie crying upstairs. She'd heard everything. Look what you've done, Lydia hissed. What I've done? I'm not the one who let my marriage die of neglect. Nathan stood up slowly. I think everyone should go home. Nathan, Paul started. Please, just go. As everyone filed out, Lydia stopped beside me. You'll regret this, she said quietly. And when you do, don't expect him to take you back. After everyone left, I went upstairs to check on Maggie. She was curled up on her bed, still in her birthday dress. Mummy, what's happening? She asked through her tears. Adults sometimes have problems, sweetheart, but it has nothing to do with you. Are you and Daddy getting divorced? The question hit me like a physical blow. I don't know, baby. I just know that Mommy needs some time to think about things. Don't go, she whispered. I'll only be gone for a weekend. And no matter what happens between Daddy and me, we both love you more than anything in the world. But even as I said the words, I wondered if they were true. If I really loved her more than anything, would I be planning to leave with Sean in 3 days? Friday morning arrived grey and drizzling, matching my mood as I finished packing my weekend bag. Sean and I were flying to Charleston for 2 nights, a romantic getaway he'd planned to help me clear my head about my marriage. Nathan had barely spoken to me since Maggie's birthday party 3 days ago. He'd slept in the guest room, communicated through Maggie, and left for work early each morning. The silent treatment should have made me feel guilty, but instead it just reinforced everything I'd been telling Sean about how emotionally unavailable my husband was. Are you sure about this? Sheila asked when she called as I was zipping up my suitcase. I need this, Sheila. I need to get away from all the judgment and pressure and figure out what I really want. What about Maggie? Nathan can handle her for 2 days. It might actually be good for them to have some father-daughter time. That's not what I mean, and you know it. I did know it, but I wasn't ready to think about the long-term consequences yet. Right now, I just needed to get out of this house that felt like a prison. Nathan was in the kitchen making coffee when I came downstairs with my bag. He looked up when he saw the suitcase, his face carefully neutral. So you're really doing this, he said quietly. I told you I needed space to think. And you can't think here. You have to go away with him. His name is Sean, and yes, I need to get away from all of this. I gestured around the kitchen, encompassing our whole life together. What am I supposed to tell Maggie? Tell her Mommy went away for the weekend to visit a friend. She doesn't need to know the details. Nathan set down his coffee mug and looked at me directly for the first time in days. Iridian, please, don't do this. Whatever's wrong between us, we can fix it. We can go to counseling. We can take a vacation together. It's too late for that. Why? Because you've already decided to throw away 11 years of marriage for some high school fantasy. His words stung because they hit too close to home. It's not a fantasy. Sean understands me in ways you never have. I want to understand you. I've been trying to understand you, but you won't talk to me. You just attack me and blame me for everything that's wrong. Because you are to blame. You checked out of this marriage years ago. You stopped seeing me as anything more than a convenience. That's not true. Isn't it? When was the last time you told me I was beautiful? When was the last time you asked about my dreams or my fears or anything that mattered to me? When was the last time you made me feel like a woman instead of just a wife? Nathan was quiet for a long moment. I don't know, he said finally, but that doesn't mean I don't love you. Love isn't enough if it doesn't come with effort. Sean makes an effort. Sean doesn't have 11 years of real life with you. He doesn't have a mortgage and a child and work stress and all the things that make relationships complicated. Maybe that's exactly what I need right now. Something uncomplicated. Nathan laughed bitterly. You think having an affair is uncomplicated? I think being with someone who actually wants to be with me is less complicated than trying to resurrect something that's been dead for years. The words hung between us like a slap. Nathan's face went pale, and I immediately wished I could take them back. But it was too late. They were out there, the truth I'd been avoiding for months. Is that really how you see our marriage, as something dead? I looked at this man I'd once loved so much, standing in our kitchen in his work clothes, looking lost and hurt, and I felt nothing. No love, no anger, no regret, just emptiness. Yes, I said quietly. I do. Nathan nodded slowly, like he was processing information he'd suspected but hoped wasn't true. Then I guess there's nothing left to say. I guess not. My phone buzzed with a text from Sean. On my way to pick you up. Can't wait to start our adventure. My ride's here, I said, shouldering my bag. Iridian. Nathan's voice stopped me at the door. What am I supposed to do while you're gone having your adventure? Just sit here and wait to see if you decide our family is worth saving. I don't know. Figure out what you want too, I guess. I already know what I want. I want my wife back. She's been gone for a long time, Nathan. You just didn't notice. I walked out the door and didn't look back, even when I heard Maggie calling, "Mommy," from upstairs. Sean was waiting in his BMW, looking handsome and excited. He jumped out to put my bag in the trunk and kissed me right there in the driveway. Ready for this? He asked, his eyes bright with anticipation. More than ready. As we drove away, I saw Nathan standing at the window watching us leave. For just a moment, I felt a pang of something. Guilt, maybe, or regret. But then Sean reached over and took my hand, and the feeling passed. This is going to be amazing, he said. Just you and me and no complications. No complications, I agreed, pushing thoughts of Nathan and Maggie out of my mind. The flight to Charleston was smooth, and Sean had booked us a beautiful room at a historic inn downtown. For the first time in months, I felt free. No cooking, no cleaning, no managing anyone else's needs. Just me and a man who thought I was fascinating. We spent Saturday exploring the city, holding hands like teenagers, talking and laughing over long meals. Sean was attentive and romantic, everything Nathan hadn't been in years. I could get used to this, I said as we walked along the waterfront that evening. So could I. In fact, I've been thinking, what if this didn't have to end on Sunday? What do you mean? I mean, what if we made this permanent? You could leave Nathan, and we could start over together. The suggestion should have thrilled me, but instead it made me feel vaguely panicked. Sean, I can't just abandon my daughter. You wouldn't be abandoning her. You'd be showing her what it looks like when a woman chooses her own happiness, and she could visit us all the time. It's not that simple. It could be if you wanted it to be. That night, lying in Sean's arms in the beautiful hotel room, I tried to imagine what my life would look like if I actually left Nathan. The freedom was appealing, but the reality seemed overwhelming. My phone had been buzzing all weekend with messages I'd been ignoring. Finally, on Sunday morning, I decided to check them. 3 voicemails from Lydia, each one more angry than the last. 2 texts from Paul asking if I was okay. 1 heartbreaking message from Maggie. "Mummy, when are you coming home? Daddy seems sad." And 1 email from Nathan, sent Saturday evening. The subject line made my stomach drop. Regarding our marriage. I opened it with shaking hands. "Iridian, I've spent the weekend thinking about everything you said before you left. You're right about a lot of things. I did stop making an effort. I did take you for granted. I did let work become more important than our relationship. I'm sorry for all of that, and I take full responsibility for my part in what went wrong between us. But I can't take responsibility for your choices. I can't accept that having an affair was the solution to our problems. And I can't pretend that what you're doing right now isn't destroying our family. When you get back, we need to talk about what comes next. I've already spoken to a lawyer about our options. I hope we can handle this civilly, for Maggie's sake. Whatever you decide about us, she deserves better than what happened at her birthday party. I'll pick you up at the airport if you want, or you can call someone else. Let me know. Nathan. My hands were shaking as I finished reading. He'd spoken to a lawyer. This was really happening. Everything okay? Sean asked, coming out of the bathroom. Nathan wants to talk when I get back. About what? About ending our marriage, I think. Sean sat down on the bed beside me and pulled me close. Hey, that's what you wanted, right? Your freedom? I guess. It just feels so final. That's because it is final. And that's okay. You're choosing to live your life instead of just existing in it. On the plane home, I stared out the window and tried to prepare myself for whatever was waiting. I'd gotten what I thought I wanted. Nathan was finally paying attention, finally taking action. So why did I feel so empty? The airport was crowded when we landed, and I said goodbye to Sean at baggage claim. This was perfect, he said, kissing me softly. And it's just the beginning. I hope so. But as I walked toward the exit, pulling my suitcase behind me, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was walking toward the end of everything instead of the beginning. Nathan wasn't there to pick me up. Instead, I saw Paul waiting by the curb, his expression serious. Hey, he said when he saw me. Nathan asked me to get you. Where is he? At home with Maggie. They've been having a tough weekend. The drive home was quiet, Paul clearly uncomfortable with the situation. Finally, he spoke. For what it's worth, I think you're making a mistake. You don't understand the whole situation. I understand that Nathan loves you and Maggie needs her parents together. Sometimes love isn't enough. And sometimes it's everything, but people are too proud or stubborn to fight for it. I didn't answer, but his words stayed with me as we pulled into my driveway. The house looked the same, but everything felt different. I was different. Nathan opened the door before I could knock, and I was shocked by how tired he looked. We need to talk, he said quietly. I know. As I walked into the house that had been my home for 8 years, I had no idea that Nathan had spent the weekend doing more than just thinking. I had no idea that the stack of papers waiting for me on the kitchen table would change everything. I was about to learn that sometimes, when you push someone too far, they don't just disappear. They take control. I walked in humming, still tasting the hotel mints from Charleston. Nathan was at the table in the half-dark, a single lamp on, one manila folder in front of him like a place setting. No Maggie, no yelling. Just the soft click of the front door locking behind me. How was your trip? His voice was the same tone he used when he asked Maggie to pass the salt. Polite, flat. I opened my mouth to lie again, then saw the papers. He didn't raise his voice once. He slid the first sheet across, my Amex statement with the King Street Hotel circled in red. Next, the call log, Sean's number starred 127 times. Next, a still from Dave's Ring camera, 1:14 a.m. Me climbing into Sean's Tesla, wearing the dress I told Nathan was girls' night. He narrated like he was reading a grocery list. Jennifer from accounting gave a statement. Sheila confirmed she was on shift the nights you said you were with her. Maggie cried Friday because Mommy went on vacation with the man from your phone. Every sentence landed clean. No drama, no tears. Just facts. Then the separation agreement appeared. House, Nathan, primary custody, Nathan, my visitation, supervised, 2 Saturdays a month. In public places, alimony, 0, my 401k, split, but only after his legal fees come out first. I laughed, an ugly, panicked sound. You can't be serious. I'm an IT consultant, Iridian. I live in metadata. You left a breadcrumb trail a blind man could follow. I tried tears. I tried bargaining. I tried, we can go to counselling. He waited until I ran out of air. You had counselling, he said. Every night you came home, and I asked what was wrong, and you said nothing. That was your chance. The lawyer knocked exactly on time. Michael Ross, cheap suit, expensive watch. He laid a pen on the signature line like he was dealing cards. "Sign tonight and it stays quiet," Nathan said. "Force me to serve you at work tomorrow and the whole office gets a copy." I looked at the man I'd called safe and predictable for 11 years. He wasn't shaking. I was. I signed. When the lawyer left, Nathan stood. "Guest room is yours until Friday. After that, the locks change. You can call Sean. He's probably wondering why you're late for your new life." My phone buzzed in my purse. Sean. Sean. "Everything okay, babe? Packed a bikini yet?" I stared at the screen until it went dark. Nathan was already upstairs. I heard the soft click of Maggie's bedroom door as he checked on her. The same goodnight ritual he'd done since she was born. I stood in the kitchen that still smelled like the pancakes we'd made together Sunday morning, before I left for my work trip, and realized the house had already moved on without me. Quiet, methodical, final. The man I thought would never fight just won the war without raising his voice.